What's up, guys? Welcome to last week in the NFL, Week 3. We are not able to be in our normal studio today because the camera broke.
Yep.
So here we are. We're gonna just be doing a podcast type, or podcast style type recording here. Hopefully, we'll be back in our regular studio for our Thursday preview. But without further ado, let's just get right into it.
Yep.
In Week 3, obviously another great week in the league. We had some great games. But I did not do very well. I went 9-7.
Yep. I went 12-4 on the week, so a little bit better.
Yeah, and we were 3 games apart. So obviously our record is 3 games apart. And Taylor went 3-0 in those games we were different in, with the Bills beating the Bengals, the Saints beating the Seahawks, and the Bears beating the Redskins. I'm really surprised about that Seahawks game. I really thought they were going to come in and get the win, but especially at home. But the Saints just outplayed them.
I think a lot of that game depended on how Teddy Bridgewater was going to play. Because I mean, the rest of the team's going to come out and show out no matter what. But I think Teddy did a really good job coming in and filling in for Drew Brees this week, and clearly they were able to get it done. They just looked like the better team.
Yeah. And then for the Redskins-Bears game, I'm just done watching Case Keenum. It's
put
just,
Dwayne in, man.
Yeah,
put Dwayne in.
We're only 3 weeks in, and I'm just, it's just bad football. We gotta watch their 3 picks on Monday night. It's like let's just get Dwayne in there.
Yeah.
But what was your game that went as expected this week?
For me, my game was the Packers and the Broncos. I had picked the Packers to cover the spread as well in this game, so I felt pretty confident about them being able to come in here and get the dub. I just think they were able to shut down the Broncos' D-line, and Joe Flacco's Joe Flacco, So not really much else I have to say about that one, to be honest.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's not very good. I expected the Packers to come in and get the win. They were able to handle their business, so good for them. But my game that was expected was Chiefs 33, Ravens 28. And this game looked like it might be a blowout in the first half. I mean, The Chiefs came out. They dropped 24 points in the second quarter alone. It was 24-6. A lot of teams just roll over at that point, down by 18.5. Just kind of, all right, well, let's go back to next week. Chiefs are really good, but not the Ravens. I got to give Lamar Jackson his credit. He played a lot better in the second half. He was able to hang in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of his balls just looked like they weren't, he was sailing some balls, just wasn't able to connect on the deep ball in the first half, but he was able to turn it around.
Yeah, for sure.
One of my games that didn't go as expected was the Lions and the Eagles. I don't know where the Lions are coming from. I was not expecting them to do this well when I was checking everything in the preseason. Same thing with the Eagles. I was expecting the Eagles to do really well this year, and they've been kind of like a dud so far.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this a little bit later also, but I picked against the Lions 2 weeks in a row. I've gotten burned 2 weeks in a row, so they've definitely impressed me. Looked a lot better than I thought they would, but also the Eagles look a lot worse than they would.
Yeah.
I was very confident about the Eagles in this game.
Same. I mean, they just turned the ball over, I think, 3 times. Lions were able to capitalize on all of it. They took a kickoff back for a touchdown, too. So it's just they were just able to capitalize in every single way that the Eagles weren't on Sunday.
Yeah, and for my game that did not go as expected, it is also a team that was not able to capitalize. The Steelers lose 20-24 to the 49ers. And, geez, 5 turnovers. They scored 6 points off of those turnovers. I mean, that is just...
I mean, Jimmy was trying to give you the game.
Yeah, they could have easily controlled the game in the first half, taken a good lead, and kind of just rode it out. But no, they didn't do anything with the turnovers. And 2 of them were red zone turnovers for the 49ers. So it's not like they were getting the ball or actually 3 of them might have been. I think 3 of them were in the red zone. So 3 of them were red zone turnovers. But I don't know if they got a first down after any of those 3 red zone turnovers.
Jeez.
Just, and the 49ers, they showed that they weren't 2-0 by some BS. This team is not bad. They ran the ball very well all game. The defensive line, they shut down the Steelers' run game. Very impressive. Overall, impressive the 49ers, not impressive the Steelers. And, I thought this game would go the other way.
Yeah, I did too, honestly. For my betting results throughout the week,
what did you do? You didn't do your game as expected, or
yeah, I did.
Oh, well, all right. Let's just keep going then. All right, betting results.
Betting results. This week I went 1-1, split it right down the middle. I had the Falcons plus 1.5. Obviously that didn't happen. The Colts handled them pretty well. And then, like I said earlier, I had taken the Packers at minus 7.5, and they were able to cover there.
Yeah, and that Falcons game, they got down like early, and then they gave you a little bit of hope. Like they almost came back, but they just weren't able to do it. Jacoby Brissett though played very well. I was impressed.
Same.
Very impressed.
He's doing very well so far.
Yeah. So you did go 1-1. I did not do as good. I went 0 for 2. My first week missing one. Obviously we've kind of already talked about both of the games that I missed, but the before mentioned Eagles loss. I had it at -6. I ended up getting it at -4 by Sunday, and they still had a chance late in the game to cover or to at least push for me, but they couldn't do it. The Eagles looked crappy all day. Yeah, just not a good loss. And you know what? I bet against the Lions 2 weeks in a row. I'm going back. We'll preview for Thursday or Friday, whenever it comes out. I'm going back. I'm betting against the Lions. It's the Chiefs this time. If the Chiefs don't cover, I accept that the Lions are good. I'm staying away from them for the rest of the year.
I mean, I agree.
But I gotta make sure.
There's no way. I mean, if the Chiefs can't do it, then they have to be legit.
Yeah, the Lions are actually just sweet. They should win the NFC North.
Yeah.
And then my other loss, Steelers money line plus 225. I really like the payout on this. I thought the Steelers came in and get a dub. They obviously did not. Very disappointing. Don't know where their season's going. I'm sure Mason Rudolph will get better as the season goes on, but they just got to let him throw. They had no sustained drives. I may have already mentioned that, but no sustained drives. Just their only good plays were big plays and defensive turnovers. So there's something wrong with the Steelers, but whatever. 0 for 2. We'll be back next week.
Yep. Moving on to some of our losers for the week. I picked Joe Burrow from LSU. He had another fantastic showing against Vanderbilt this Saturday. Threw 25 for 34, 398 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's a school record for LSU. This kid, I know we had brought him up earlier in the week too.
Yeah. I think I brought him up week 1. So this is his second shout out on the For You Losers.
You know, he's just flying up my board. Honestly, I think he's doing a great job this season. Heisman candidate. I think if he keeps playing like this, he's forcing himself onto your board, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Joe Burrow has looked like a different quarterback this year. He really has.
Completely different. And their offense just looks completely different. You know, LSU's always been a traditional run-heavy type of offense.
Yeah, the Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, type. But no, Joe Burrow's switching things up. He looks really good, and, he's kind of making people take notice of him. Big stock up for Joe Burrow. And then my guy, I got Chase Young. I mean, any of the teams that are 0-3. If you're 0-3, you might already start be looking forward to the draft. So we got Dolphins, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, who obviously first-round pick is Miami's, Broncos, Redskins, and Cardinals, who are actually 0-2-1, but you might as well be 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
If any of them get Chase Young, I'm sure they'll be ecstatic. As I said, I think the way he's played so far, he should be the number 1 pick. The only way I see him not being the number 1 pick is because a quarterback goes, which, obviously quarterbacks are a precedent or are like more important than the other positions. But still, I think Chase Young is the best player in college football right now. He had 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, a hurry, and 2 forced fumbles. He's already elite at, if he can't sack the quarterback, at getting that huge handout to try to knock the ball out. Obviously, they play Miami, Ohio. They won by 71 points. So it's not... This is kind of a culmination of what he's done in the first 3 weeks, where he's just looked, just completely unblockable.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's just a physical freak.
Yeah, Chase Young, any team picking in the top 5 is going to be ecstatic if they have the, chance to draft Chase Young.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, that is our Week 3 recap. Another great week in the league. They all are great weeks.
Yep.
I'm excited for Week 4. We got a great Thursday night matchup, Eagles versus Packers.
Yeah.
Big game for the Eagles. They're 1-2.
Should actually be a good one compared to last week.
Yeah, compared to last week. Packers are 3-0. I'm still, Packers look really good. So if they improve to 4-0, I'll be even more impressed. Eagles obviously don't want to drop to 1-3.
No.
Be sure to like and subscribe, guys. We will be back Thursday, obviously, with our preview show. And, that's pretty much it. Hopefully we'll be back in the regular studio so you can see our faces again.
Beautiful faces.
Yep. So with that, guys, we will see you guys later.
See you.
One more thing, guys, before we go. Shout out Daniel Jones.
Shout out my boy Daniel, baby. Danny Dimes out here. 18-point comeback, 336 yards, 2 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns, and no turnovers. That's what I'm talking about.
Game-winning touchdown, too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shout out Daniel Jones. Shout out Kyle Allen. Quarterbacks making one of their first start of the season. We're on fire, except for Mason Rudolph. But once again, shout out Daniel Jones.
Shout out Daniel Jones.